yes, oh yes, oh yes. Our star boy has arrived. Our young prodigy has arrived. Fabio Carvalho with the winner against, again, you know what? They deserve every last minute of that Fergie time that we got tonight. Every last minute. Yeah, you Newcastle fans, if you're out there to chat anywhere, you knew what you were playing at. Fading injuries. There was only one team that wanted to win that last 10 minutes, and the right winners won. Come on, Grizz.
Boy, Keith, I wanted you to start because I know you're proper get hyped. Super chat, first super chat of the night. Let's just quickly get this out of the way. Grizz, remember when I said Newcastle was looking bogey? I guess it isn't. The win hurt because I'm a United fan, but fair play, you lot don't give up. Keith, first and foremost, post-match carnage. My God, there was carnage at the end there, final scenes. How often do we go into Liverpool-Newcastle games and there's carnage at the end? There's madness, there's excitement, there's last-minute goals, the famous Collymore, the famous Robbie Fowler, and now the famous Carvalho. My God, that was needed. My God, that wasn't deserved. But we keep it moving. These are the small, small things, Keith, that fucking keep the momentum going. People, welcome to Post-Match Carnage. It's me and Keith in the building. We're the only ones that had the balls. Everyone had given up, thought it's going to be 1-1, but we kept the faith. We're live and exclusive for you guys. We're going to look through the game. Smash the likes on your way in. There's 200 of you in here already. You guys thought we're dead. We ain't dead. We ain't dead. Even when we're not playing well, we ain't dead. Keith?
No, we're not.
Silly question, but how you feeling?
You know what? Yeah, just again, it was just one of them situations where I'm writing the eulogies out. You know, how are we going to talk about 1-1? How are we going to talk about the performance? What are we going to talk about? But the only thing, like, I had this one inkling of feeling is to say that, you know what? In those last 10 minutes, one football team wanted to win that football match today. And you know what? We can talk. We'll go into the performances and how we felt about them and individual performances. But football is a simple game. You just need to put the ball in the back of the net and you need to be willing to do so. Newcastle chose to fade injury. Newcastle chose to have themselves on the floor. 10 minutes. And Klopp has been going crazy about this on the touchline all game because they started doing this after they scored the goal in the first half. So to see the fact that justice prevailed in this situation is just gassed me beyond belief, man. Unbelievable.
This is so true. This is so true. 5 games in, Keith, and it feels like we're 32 games into the season. Like, this is going to be long. This is going to be long. This is going to be long for our hearts, our blood pressures, our sleeping patterns, our social lives. My God, when are we just going to have a normal season? This is looking like another mad season, Keith, to me. I'm sorry. That performance wasn't good. It wasn't good. I mean, I guess we can get into it. Like, it's mental. Coming off the back of the 9-0 demolition job, he picks the same team. We knew pretty much we got no other options, really. We have to go again, right? So there's no qualms there, right?
No, absolutely not. And you know what? It's continuity. We needed the continuity. I think this is the first game this season where we played back-to-back, the same back four, the same middle three, and the same front three. So no changes. And actually, that brought me into this game with confidence. I actually thought, okay, this is, now we're going to see Joe Virgil kick into gear. Now we're going to see Fabinho as the anchor. Maybe Henderson on the left. A lot of people in the chat were saying maybe he wouldn't work on the left too much. But I thought, you know what? He can do a job at least. But boy, when we got into that game, Grizz, I saw one team who were out-pressing us high up the pitch. First 5-10 minutes. High up the pitch. Almiron, Joe Linton, Fraser, Isaac. Like, we couldn't play football with the ball at our feet. We couldn't even get out of our half. We kept going long every 5 minutes. Like, we got pressed like you wouldn't believe. And that's what got a bit scary. Because at one stage you're thinking, well, it's not injuries then. It's not continuity then. What are we saying? Newcastle are a better team than us without 2 of their best players.
3.
Yeah, 3.
Callum Wilson, Bruno Guimaraes, Saint Maxim. Bro, I was going into that real positive. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been going into games real positive. As Jay Finn says, appreciate the support. He says we played about 65% today, and we get a late winner. I can't argue with that. I'm not letting anyone give us above 65, maximum 70% for that performance, Keith. I don't know what you're saying. Look, the team picked itself kind of today. We did have nothing else. And you're right. The start wasn't. I tweeted like we need to put our foot on their necks and really go for the full throttle start that we done against Bournemouth, because they've got a few players missing. They changed both their centre backs, Keith. Yes. They changed both their centre backs. So I'm thinking, okay, and I don't rate Lascelles. I don't rate him. Dan Burns was a monster today. He played well. He played well. He was a beast, right?
Oh, unbelievable. I've never seen an opposition defender win so many headers. Like, he almost looked like...
But then that fucks up. But then it makes me go mad, Keith. Why are we making him win headers?
It's spot on. It's spot on. It's the long... It was the crosses that we're just peppering them at one stage. Oh, yeah.
Shabazz, we're going to get into it, bro. We're going to dedicate a session to him, man, because we're with you, bro. We're with you. Man, I love Harvey Elliott. Bro, that guy is a man. He's not a boy anymore. I'm not calling him star boy anymore. You said star boy for Carvalho. Okay, fair enough. But I'm not calling Elliott star boy anymore. I'm calling him a star man. Because, all right, we're going to get into that. But look, yeah, you're right. The start was scrappy. They were pressing us. But I don't know, Keith. That midfield's worrying me. The pivot of Henderson and Firmino, too much of a muchness. Especially at home, especially at teams that are going to press us, and especially teams that are going to sit low against us. They haven't got the technical abilities between them. It's too much, what's the word? Onus on young Elliott to be the progressive player.
The only progressive player, if you will. Firmino and Henderson are not comfortable with the ball in those progressive areas, particularly when they're getting pressed as much as Newcastle were pressing them. If anything, Joe Linton was practically marking Firmino in that first half.
Yes, sir.
He did not let him breathe an inch. So Firmino had no space, and he's not a player to have space. They even almost gave Harvey Elliott room to press Firmino and to press Henderson as high as possible, because they knew that they're just not comfortable in the ball at all. And when you say much of a muchness, it's very much like Firmino and Henderson, even though I always say that Henderson should never play six by himself, they're both there to tick things over, right? To get the ball and tick it over between themselves. But all of a sudden, you've got them two doing that. And you've also got Gomez, who, for me, doesn't have the confidence to progress the ball. And he only, as he got into the game, he did. But that first half against Man United as well, he's not confident enough to get that ball and start doing what Joel Matip does.
That's the difference, isn't it? You're right.
Henderson are not there. Matip can be the playmaker. How did you think Gomez started that game?
You know what? I think he's getting his confidence back in terms of, and also his speed back in terms of challenges. His passing is okay, but I agree with you in terms of bringing the ball out of play. But neither does Virgil, to be honest with you, Keith.
No.
Virgil doesn't do that enough as well, because it was very key. You're so right. It was very key. Willock and Joe Linton were asked to just press Firmino and Henderson, go man-to-man almost with them. And they weren't letting us out. They weren't letting us play out. How we circulate the ball. There was just a couple of super chats I want to go through that probably, selection says horrific performance. Ignoring the winger was shit. More teams clocked how we played. Trent's so lazy. That's the fifth goal Hendo against us involved in. Philippe, who's a Newcastle fan, says, fair play, LFC. I'm proud of how we played. No corruption. Obviously, more time was added because of our antics. You're still poor. Need a midfielder. Can't disagree with anything that you said there. And you're very fair as well in your assessment. Keith, that first half or that opening, I couldn't see us creating nothing. Look, again, it was back to the first game where we played Crystal Palace, where the wide men were too wide. Against Man United, sorry. Yeah. Diaz and Salah were too wide again. Keith, and they were letting us have the ball out there. They were cramping up in the middle. They knew Firmino ain't gonna win a header against Lascelles and Dan Burns, and we couldn't control them. We couldn't cage them in, Keith. Why?
No.
Again,
I think there's a couple of things that are developing, which is pretty interesting. First of all, and I'll be interested to see what the chat think about this, is the Robertson Diaz it's not connected. I don't think he's connecting at the moment, and the decision needs to be made in terms of like either how we get them playing quickly or how, you know, or ultimately, you know, is Tsimikas a better partner for Diaz on that left-hand side at the moment? Because when we're going out into these wide areas, we're not connecting, the fullbacks are not connecting as well with the inside forwards. Salah's so wide. In the play, and he's not the most man in the world, right? He's quick in terms of manipulating the ball with his body, but not really with his feet. So those type of areas, you're never going to get trickery with him. So we're very wide, but I felt Newcastle defending us.
They did.
Really.
Sometimes you got to give credit to the opposition. I've said it. Newcastle are not a joke this season. They're not a joke. Tres Fresh says 14 out of position too often. I don't know if he was out of position. I just think he was poor. I just think he was poor on the ball. I think Fabinho can't get away with it as well, Keith. I'm not letting people just slander Hendo, because Hendo was awful today. He was awful. But Fabinho was as well. Too slow on the ball, too slow on the turn, not enough progressive passing. It was, as I said, I keep going back to it. It was Elliott and Salah trying to link up, and then Diaz trying to do something. There was no triangles created anywhere on the pitch, including at the back, because normally we start the plays with Trent's crispness of his passing. Now, we have to get into the first goal. Trent tries something. Sim agrees with you. He says, Gomez makes me worry, plays everyone on side. I think you've spoke about this before. You're not sure if he's the right person to play that role. Or
not those offside traps. I've always said I think Joel Matip is a lot more intelligent in terms of that offside trap. And it's true in terms of, we get into the goal because we could talk about offside traps, we could talk about midfield, we can talk about defending, but the first issue here ultimately is that we just give the ball away in such a needlessly stupid position. And us as a team are already going up the pitch anyway, so automatically now Newcastle spring into life like this. And again, Newcastle not a joke anymore. This isn't.
They're not a joke.
You got Almiron, you got Fraser, you got, you know, they're all making runs the minute we lose that ball. But for me, it was the way we were conceding goals when we were in a rut before. We get into this rut, and then we are the easiest team to score a goal against. Literally, in one pass, it took everybody out. Sean Longstaff played a pass that you would be praising.
Paul Scholes does that. Do you remember he used to do that little,
that little thing. Then boom, gone. And Isaac, who was only 24 hours ago just got his work permit and literally flown into the country, has managed to be sharper of mind than all the players around him who've had at least 3-4 days to prepare for that in Liverpool on your home ground. The one thing I will say, though, is a fantastic finish. I mean, he took it so well with that. You know, the way he struck it, top bins. It was a beautiful finish, but it was just, it was so easy.
It was so easy. Do you know what? It seemed to be slow motion. Trent tries one of his Hollywood passes. When it comes off, we salivate. Right?
Yes.
So therefore, we cannot blame him when he gives it away. But I always say there's a time and a place, and you play the percentages. Looking back, I'm not sure if that pass was clearly on anyway in the first place, but I'll have to double check. Because if Robertson was in acres of space, then it was a good choice to try. But I've got a feeling like Almiron was on him all day. I don't even think Robertson was free. But we'll have a look at that. People let us know if I'm right. I may be wrong. Keith, he gives it away. And my pet hate with Trent is when he starts slow, the whole game of him is slow. He gets kind of bamboozled or brainwashed or dazzled. He doesn't pick it up quick enough. He walks. He walks. The play builds up. There's no urgency from the rest of them. So Trent's done the initial mistake. There's no urgency from anyone on that pitch. The only person with urgency is Hendo, who's probably the least mobile and technical because he fucking ends up giving it away. Yeah, because he's so stiff. But at least he's trying to read it. At least he's trying to hurry. Gomez, Van Dijk, Robert. There's no urgency on that. There's nothing going on. They're just letting them play. Did you notice that? So we give the ball away. There's no urgency to foul them straight away again. Where's Fabinho? Foul them. Stop the play. Stop the break. They let them develop. And I think Rio said it in the commentary. He goes, Virgil's got no right to try to play offside there. Sometimes you've got to defend. And it's that, again, what we've been asking Virgil to do. Defend, read the situation, as opposed to just doing this automatic offside thing every single fucking time, Keith. There's a time and a place. If the player's got no pressure on him, you can't just play offside blindly.
Yeah. No, it's true. We're obsessed with it though, but is that by
we're obsessed with it?
By the coach?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Good question. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, is this something that Jurgen is just like, you know, a hill he will die on? You know what I mean? And no one has the balls to really call it out for what it is, because we can't keep trying to play offside traps in situations where we don't have a stable defense in the first place, and teams are just finding us out day in, day out. I mean, if we're going to try and play offside traps and do that kind of stuff against the likes of Haaland, then it's going to be long the way that he's going on with his form currently. So, yeah, for me, it's a tough one now, because obviously with the centre-back pairing, what are you looking for now? Because ultimately, Joe Gomez now, what, does he get the run? You know, because does Joe Matip come back in?
I guess it's a talking point now, because Joe Matip, Merseyside derby, what kind of strikers? I think we're going to have to look for horses for courses. I think we're going to have to look into sort of what kind of strikers we're playing against, and then base the partnership at the back accordingly. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. Look, going back to the goal, this guy, I said it the other day on a show I'd done. I said, this guy is a nice player. This Isaac is nice, and that was a nice finish. He's technically very good, and you know what? The biggest trait he's got a bit of Firmino about him. Do you know what I mean by that, Keith? I mean in terms of the coolness. He nothing phases him. Now, sometimes it can look lazy or whatever you want to call it, but as a cold-blooded striker, it's one of the best traits you can have. Just feel calm and collected, and put the ball away. He finished that so good, Keith. I have to say.
It's brilliant. I almost wonder if the fact that he did come late was an added bonus. You know, sometimes where you do something and you just don't think about it because you've not had time to think about it. You just do it.
Or instructions, or from the coach, or anything.
Nothing. And he harassed the hell out of our centre-backs in that first half. You know what I mean? He didn't let us breathe, but I don't know, man. You know, the famed offside line, you know, I lived by that hill, and I died by that hill last season when we were winning offside traps for fun. But I'd love to.
You loved it. You loved it. You was going wild last season about the offside traps and how we work it and everything. VVD needed to foul Almiron in that moment. We're not doing enough fouls, Keith.
No, we don't.
We're not doing it enough. We're jockeying people everywhere on the fucking pitch. What's this? What's this jockeying people everywhere on the pitch? Why are we letting midfielders pick off their pass? The wide men come inside. Like, we need to make more snide fouls out there. And he's right.
But a lot of the times we miss time. Sometimes we can be so slow to react in certain situations that we would even mistime the foul. I would argue. In situations where Firmino tried to foul and he's been so slow to move to it that he didn't make the foul. But, you know, I think once that goal goes in, I think it really it impacted the crowd in a big way. And I feel like it really just got everybody down. Because, I mean, what is this now? This is
9th or 8th time we've gone down. Something like that. People, let us know in the chat. How many times is that we've lost the lead now?
We've won 22 games from losing positions this year. I believe, is it this year or under Jurgen Klopp? One of those two. It shouldn't be, but it is. And I have to say that this is going to be our season. I really don't see us doing anything else. And my issue at the moment, I feel like I'm looking around us, and I feel like everyone's really, really motivated. And you know, I look at your Arsenal.
You mean teams?
Yeah, Spurs, Newcastle. Everyone's really motivated, and I just don't feel like we've realized that yet.
8 out of 9. That's mental.
We used to keep clean sheets for fun. One of the best.
Absolute for fun. Where's that super chat? Adrian, thoughts on Sangare, Grizz? We inquired about him. Obviously, we didn't go forward with it. He's one of the guys that we looked at after Shermani. I didn't hear nothing of it. We did definitely look into him. Alvarez, again, we did look into him, but obviously we didn't go for them then. I'm not sure if we're willing to pay 40-50 million pounds for them now. There's literally only, obviously, 12 hours to go? 24 hours to go, sorry, I should say. No, not even 12 hours to go. If it's tomorrow 11 o'clock, it's 12 hours to go, right? Am I saying the right thing? Yeah. So there's 12 hours to go, people. I'm still confident we bring someone in. Let's see what happens tomorrow. But look, back to the game. We go down. There's a beautiful chance created for Luis Diaz via Bobby Firmino's vision touch. I mean, that was lovely. That was sexy. That was Bobby Firmino at his best. Again, picked up a pocket of space. And again, we finally, probably one of the 2 or 3 occasions that we got the inverted wingers making runs inwards. Should he have scored? Should he have done better? Sorry, 24 hours. My maths is bad. We've been having it's rough. We're stressed out, people. Allow us in it. Stress.
If you ask Conroy, he'll tell you it was an open goal and a professional footballer should be scoring.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll put the Conroy hat on, and it was a terrible miss. Personally,
just a quick breaking news. Henderson is injured, by the way. My God, hamstring. My God. When it rains, it pours. But yeah, well, a lot of people will be happy because a lot of people are slaughtering him, and he didn't have a good game today. But if he's I can tell you, and it's not defending Henderson, I can tell you he's been playing with pain-killing injections this season because we have got no other options. Yes,
really?
Yes, he has. So it is what it is. He's injured now. You know, I mean, let's not talk about a guy when he's injured. You know, he's out of the picture. As I keep saying, he's not playing well. Henderson did not play well, but I'm sorry, he wasn't the only one. Larry Sarpong, appreciate the support. He says Milner, Ox, Naby, Hender all need to go tomorrow, but we're stuck with them. Elliott was our best player by a mile. Thiago, Jota, Konate isn't enough. We need 3 midfielders. I'm not interested in top 4. I want first. You're not the only one, Larry. Trust me, as Liverpool fans, we all want the same thing. There's no doubts about it. Motti sends in a super chat. Motti says 1.8 million net spend, guys. What are your thoughts? I don't care about net spend. I don't care about how much we spend, how much we make. I don't care. I just want to have as many good players as we can have in a team. If that means our net spend is high, so be it. If it means our net spend is low but we're good at selling players, so be it. I don't give a shit about net spend. I want lots of good players. We haven't got enough midfielders. I agree with every single person, and you guys have been watching my show. If you have been watching my show on all my platforms, I've been screaming, we need a midfielder. We need a midfielder. It is what it is. But yeah, look, yeah, they're saying hamstring just confirmed. Okay, well, that's him out for at least a couple of weeks, at least. Because he's not young. He's not going to recover very quickly. We know these things will take time. Keith, that's the only chance. So sorry I interrupted you. I know Conroy would say that's a gilt-edged chance. Could he have played it? Could he have composed himself a little bit? Did he have a chance to compose himself? And then maybe to play to Salah and even Bobby in the goal?
He could have played. He could have left it to Salah. You would have thought if with a little bit more telepathy, he could have. But he was going for it all day long. But I think, if anything, the build-up to the chance, we have to talk about Harvey Elliott. Because, like, in that first half, yes, things were tough. And yes, we didn't play particularly well. But I've just thought Harvey Elliott, he is what I would describe as, he's already becoming a man in this Liverpool side at the moment. He's it's not just the pockets of space that he picks us up, but it was the choice of passing. Probably the 2 chances that we had in the first half were down to Harvey Elliott making a slight change in passing that just took the Newcastle team kind of off balance for a second, that allowed things to kind of happen and break through. And he was the kind of instigator for that chance. I think he slips in Firmino plays it to Diaz, and Diaz goes through. We need that kind of quality, but it's all good having that type of quality. But if you're not being able to protect yourself on the counter-attack when a pass does go wrong, then it's unfortunate that we can't be talking more about Harvey Elliott's ascension than we currently are, because we're always talking about what midfielders we may or may not be buying, and what midfielder is injured and what midfielder is not injured. And we're not focusing enough on what is clearly going to become a very talented footballer, and maybe even someone that could push for the England squad if he carries on the way he's going.
Yeah, look, I'm agreeing with you there, man. Look, it was time and time again. Excuse me, time and time again, left to Elliott to be that creative spark, progressive spark, energetic spark. Every type of spark was left to Elliott. It's got to be, I don't know, it's got to be so glaringly obvious, Keith, that we need some form of energy, vitality, and spark in those midfield. And just like I said about the European Cup final, where I said they let Fabinho have the ball and Henderson have the ball, they done the same thing today. You know, they knew nothing was going to penetrate from there. Salah, people are saying Salah was awful. I mean, Salah, I don't think he was awful. I just don't think he was in the right positions. Like when he looked a little bit threatening, he got into the game. He ended up with 2 assists, right? I believe he ends up with 2 assists.
Was no way? Was he giving the assist for the second?
Yeah, I think so. You know, let's go to some of the comments. Look, there was a comment here about the referee, guys. I mean, the referee was pony for both teams. How are people saying, "Oh, the referee was bad for us as a Newcastle people"? How can you say that? The amount of time wasting he let take place was, and you're right. Teams are doing it very early now, Keith, because they know we are the biggest momentum team in world football. Correct. You at Anfield, if you let us have any kind of momentum crescendo, let the crowd build up, you know you're in trouble. And what every team is being allowed to do now is stop the game. How do we get around this?
Well,
you have to make the referees aware. It's got to be dark arts. We've got to be in a referee's face and eyes and say, this is happening. You know what's happening here.
Well, Klopp was losing his absolute marbles today, and that's what he was losing. That's what caused the commotion, basically, is because Klopp was literally going hell for leather on the referee every time a player got, after they went 1-0 up, any tackle that went down, player goes down immediately, holds his chest. I think there was one incident where Joe Linton was just lying on the floor and the referee was just letting play go on because Joe Linton lied on the floor too late. So what he tried to do was, as it was going for a corner, he tries to drop back and fall.
Well, that's your stuff on, man. That's you. You turn it off, man.
Oh no, I was gonna go on mute.
Turn it off. We don't want to get copyrighted. You're off mute now. You okay? Whoops. Let me know when it's off.
Yeah, it's off.
Okay.
I pressed play by accident.
No problem.
Yeah, so, go on. No. So basically, yeah. So what happened was so Joe Linton, he wants to go down for cramp before the corner's being before the throw-in's being taken. But we take the throw-in so quickly. As we've taken the throw-in, he drops to the floor, but the referee says play on. So there's going to be a situation where someone's going to be genuinely injured, where the referee on.
I didn't even know Coote was the fourth official. Mariner and Coote.
They're allowing it to happen, but it's happening.
You can't get a worse combination.
Liverpool. I heard someone complain about it yesterday for was it the Leeds game, the Leeds Everton game? I think Everton were doing it from early because did they go 1-0 up? I believe, and they were doing it as well. And Jesse March was also losing his shit. So it seems to be a new tactic this season that people are using.
But I tell you what it is. Do you remember the tactic of head injuries? You have to stop. Right?
Yes.
So everyone seems to be going down and holding their heads, right? But what some are doing, the cheeky fuckers, check this out, Keith. What some are doing is holding their heads, right? But complaining about cramp and saying, oh, so the referee stops it automatically. And then they're getting treatment on their cramp or their ankle, they're saying, or their ribs. Do you understand? But they're doing the action of motion of agony by holding their head in their hands. It's so cheeky. Another super chat. Jimmy Nizza says, Hendo Hammy, apparently we need someone tomorrow. My brother, we needed someone at the start of the window. We needed someone in the middle of the window. We needed someone on the last day of the window. As I've said, people are saying, Grizz, any news? There's absolutely no news of a name. All I know is we are still in the market for players. We are still working overtime. We are still thinking we're going to get someone in. Keith's having awful issues today. I'm here on my own, but you guys know I'm here for you. I'm ready for you. I hope you guys have smashed the like button anyway, first and foremost. There's nearly 600 of you in there, right? Talk to me. This is the time to talk to me. Yeah, man. Look, nearly 600, man, and no one's even smashing the like. Like, can you smash a like for that mentality out, at least we show? Horrible performance. The referee had an awful performance. Liverpool had an awful performance. Did Jurgen Klopp do enough to change it then at halftime? Because obviously We still go in at 0-0, right? Nothing's changed. Could he have changed anything?
Well, unless I think a lot of the ultimately
Chris Hurst in the building. So sorry, Keith. Chris Hurst in the building. Haven't seen him in my chat before. Big up self, Chris. Well done, son. I'm feeling much better now, son. Fucking, I'm feeling much better now. Sorry, Keith.
Yeah, no. I just thought the only thing that I think Klopp could have changed at half time was just allow for more urgency when we have the ball, because there were a few times where actually we released it early and we actually started to catch them out of the press. The problem was we didn't have the confidence to play that pass too often. So which brings me to, I will live and maybe die by this opinion this year.
Say it.
And the reality of this is this: I believe that Liverpool are trying to play a new game with players that they don't have yet, right? So the ultimate issue is that we're trying to play this new system, but we've built this new system around having a centre forward, and now we've gone into this game trying to play with a false nine again. So we've kind of gone false nine, back to inverted wingers when maybe we're going to be more of a centre forward team. So maybe the long term, when Núñez comes back next week, we might see the fruits of the labour with Salah going more diagonal. But until then, if we're going to be playing games like this, where we're going to allow us to have the ball, the teams will give us 70-80% of the possession. They'll say have it play into the halfway line.
Do you know what I think, Heath? I think you've got a point, but I think we're meant to play this way. I think you're right, but without Bobby. This formation was supposed to involve Núñez or Jota,
yes,
who are completely different strikers. Do you know what I mean? So I think you've got a valid point, but we ain't got no option though at the moment but to play Bobby.
No, exactly.
But again, sorry, go.
No, it proved fruitful in the end, but our build-up, it doesn't look cohesive at the moment. It doesn't look like it's something that teams are that scared of. It seems very easy to defend against, in my humble opinion. But maybe it will.
But almost too easy to score against as well, Keith. Because that's 8, and the only fucking team that we didn't concede to is fucking Bournemouth. What do you want me to like? This is mental. What's caused this shift in balance? Can't be mentality. Is it mentality? Is balance? Because there's an imbalance somewhere, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's a shift in tactics that's causing this imbalance. People are just saying, "Oh, it's because the midfield." It's the same midfield that's done us so proud in recent seasons, including last season, lads. It's the same midfield. Obviously, it's lacking Thiago and Naby, and to a lesser extent Curtis Jones. To a lesser extent, I don't know who else, Ox, but Thiago Alcantara is going to be missed in any midfield.
Yeah, but we were still getting caught out against Fulham when he was playing. So you know what I mean? Like, I know Thiago will come in and give a bit of a different option, but I still think there's big issues with our centre back line because it almost got caught again. What happened in the second half? How close was Isak? Isak was about that close, milliseconds away.
So exactly. So look, 1-0 at the time. I couldn't really see us. As you said, there was patches of play where we tried to speed up the play and we create space because we break the transition by speed of pass. It's all about speed of pass. Get 2-touch football, 3-touch football. Again, Henderson and Fabinho don't play 2-touch football enough. Especially when they're out of form and insecure about their form and insecure about their touch. They take that extra touch. Or they'll go back to Gomez and they'll go back to Virgil van Dijk. But we get life, Keith, as you said. Again, what a fucking finish from this guy. I'm looking at his price in FPL tomorrow, but we discussed that on Friday. But Keith, we got life again, right? Because 2-0 game's over, right?
And it was live. I mean, it was like, and it was again a similar situation. What happens? It was a unforced error which caused the team against us, and all of a sudden Isak is in, and again one defender slides down, the other defender gets caught, and we've seen this goal scored against us. You know what I mean? A few times now this season, and lucky for us, we got life. And again, we can talk about the midfield and stuff like that, but sometimes we just have to look at the structure of our defensive line. You know, that midfield can't be blamed for absolutely everything, right? We can't always say every issue.
We can't do that. It doesn't make sense to do that.
No, clearly we're getting caught every time by 3 passes for our defensive line. Why?
I agree with Zishan here. Midfield isn't the only problem, guys. Our top players aren't in their game. Salah, Robbo, Fabinho. Absolutely agree. I'd add Virgil for that. I'm adding Virgil to that, Keith.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not letting him get away with a clean sheet against Bournemouth and say, yeah, Virgil's out of his slump. He's not. He's still not commanding. He's still not aggressive enough. He's still not progressive in his ball carrying enough. When Matip's not there, you fucking do that because you can do it as well. They're not getting pressed. The midfield's getting pressed because they know we're not technically great right there. Without Naby and Thiago, they know, opposition know we're not technically great in there, so we ain't press resistant, so they can go right up to our midfielders, but they're not pressing our centre backs.
No, they're not.
And they're not touching them, and so therefore we should have, and we do have more time with Joe Gomez and Virgil, but Matip brings the ball out. Neither, as you said, neither Gomez or Virgil are bringing the ball out.
No, because there's no confidence at the moment. And if they're not bringing the ball out, and Fabinho and Henderson's not bringing the ball out, then all of a sudden you've got this similar situation. It'd be great. Again, would you say that he was the sole reason for the goal? Again,
of course not. The sole reason is the team. Look, the sole reason is the team. The initial mistake is Trent. There's a slow transition of mental shift of the whole team. In fact, he's the only one who actually fucking does anything proactive. It's just he's too stiff. He tries to stretch out, tries to clear it. It's an awful clearance or interception or lack of technical ability to be able to control it. Whatever it is, I haven't seen it enough to pass judgment on it. But to say that was Henderson costing us this goal is sheer stupidity. I really appreciate your support. I don't want to disrespect your super chat, but it is. Just to blame that on Henderson is fucking so poor. It's unbelievable. How can you just blame that on Henderson?
You can't always, again, we have to be careful of
Trent's pass put everyone out of position. And then the whole team jogged.
Yeah.
The whole team didn't fucking go and get to the root of the problem. Whoever the ball carrier is, stop him at the source. They didn't do it. Did you see them do it?
We've done it. No. And this is now, we've done this now. This is probably around the 3rd or 4th time this season we've done this in various situations this season, where we're just not quick of mind to do.
Even the Man United goal, the Sancho goal. Look how dead of mind we are there.
Yeah, exactly that. So no, we can't all pin it on the midfield. And if we're going to talk about the midfield again, you got to talk about the second half performance of Harvey Elliott again, the driver again. I think
he got better.
Yeah,
I think he got better in the second half even more.
I couldn't agree. He talk about taking the ball by the horns in that kind of situation, right? He knew that he could make something from nothing. And to be fair to him, it's almost like he woke Salah up a little bit in that second half of the second half, because then you started seeing Salah making more inverted runs to actually try and make things happen, is what I started to see. But before that, Salah
Are we getting more bad news, people? Are we getting more bad news?
Nah, don't.
Jurgen Klopp, Ellie has a small issue with his shin. He'll be back after the Everton match. Are we really saying this has happened? Obviously, we've come live straight away, guys. Can you guys confirm if Elliott was out of Everton as well? My God, because I know, Keith, we get to the goal. Salah lays it off lovely. Salah was doing this well. He wasn't having personal success in terms of he's not getting many chances. Now, I don't know. I think it's a positional reason why he's not getting any more and wasn't getting many chances. He's not making any inward runs. He's playing too wide, especially when you've got a man like Bobby Firmino playing alongside you. But I think his creative side is showing. And he's finding people with passes and spaces a lot. I like this side of him. Bobby Firmino, the man in form again, Keith, brings us 1-1 with half an hour to go still. What did you feel at that stage?
Sure, I shuttered the house down, to be honest. I didn't see it. I honestly didn't see it coming. It's probably one of our best moves of the game. We started to a little bit more, again, release the ball a little bit earlier and catch them on the hop. But again, I think that's more down to Newcastle than anything else, because as I said, Newcastle were already playing the injury game within the 50 to 60th minute. And actually, if Newcastle, in my humble opinion, if Newcastle actually went for the jugular, Liverpool were there for the taking tonight.
Vulnerable. We were vulnerable. You're right.
If you're a Newcastle fan and you're justifying that, then you want to look back on that match and probably say, actually, it was the wrong tactic to use. You should have taken the second goal, then started playing that injury stuff. So it allowed Liverpool to start picking up momentum in patches. And to be fair, Mo Salah, it's brilliant pass by Mo Salah. And you talk about his creativity, but again, it's Harvey Elliott, the one I believe that's driving with the ball and plays Salah through. So it's him that initially gets the ball, plays a lovely ball over to Salah, and then Salah with the cut back to Firmino. And Firmino's don't sleep. He's a big goal player, Bobby Firmino. You know what I mean? He likes to get us these goals in these situations. He's dragged us back in situations against Spurs. He's dragged us back in situations against Inter Milan. He's dragged us back in situations against Arsenal. Firmino has dragged us back into games in the past, and it was a brilliant finish from a striker that, these days doesn't get enough credit for scoring goals in the box, because he is definitely a lot better at doing that these days. But, I think, I still dream that the Salah-Nunez partnership could be this partnership to tear it up. And Salah's, because at the end of the day, it's going to be between them two in terms of setting each other up. So, yeah, maybe he's getting more instructions to be a little bit more creative. But it's a side of Salah's game that never gets recognized or appreciated.
Well, it's going to get recognized because he's... I don't think he's catching Haaland's goal tally this season. I think he just needs to focus on doing the best he can for Liverpool in terms of creation and scoring, and not focus on that. I think it might work in our favor. What do you think about that one, Keith? I think he might be focused on just doing the best he can in the situation, as opposed to just golden boot, because look, I don't think he's catching Haaland this season. Haaland's going to go clear. Lucky Luciano says, can we talk about Robbo's form? Can't cross. How many people's form can we talk about, Lucky Luciano? Keith, how many people's form can we talk about? We talk about, I agree. Robbo, I don't think Robbo was as bad as Trent. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about just a mistake. I thought Trent's passing and his lackadaisical approach was off all game.
Yeah.
But I don't think Robertson was amazing.
I just don't.
Like, he needs to find when he gets all that overlap. For example, they create that overlap in the second half. Diaz waits for him to go on the overlap. He has to find people. He keeps hitting that first man, Keith.
Mm-hmm. There's no confidence at the moment. There's no confidence, I don't think. And I think Robert is struggling a lot. You can see it in his demeanor. You can see it in his game. As I said, I just don't feel like he's connected with Diaz in the same way. Yes, he did have that overlapping chance, but other than that, he doesn't even feel that confident to go that forward. Again, is that by design that he's been asked to not go as gung-ho as before? There was one incident where Almiron just almost like not only nicked the ball, but then turned him inside out and just left him for dead. And I was like, that's Almiron doing that to Andy Robertson. I was like, what's going on? What kind of time warp have we gone into here when Almiron's twisting and turning Andy? I just don't think he's just not a confident guy at the moment, and just nothing seems to be coming off in the big games. And actually, when it comes to set piece deliveries and general crossing, when Tsimikas came on, I thought he was a lot more of a threat. And I thought with Diaz a lot more.
Oh, did you? You think so? Yeah,
I think so.
I'll have to have another look at it. I didn't see enough, man. Sam Strong says Nuri Sahin and Jibril Cisse out for the Everton game. I think we've been trolled. I don't think Klopp has said Elliott is out. Okay. I think whoever said that is trolling in the chat. But if people know, let us know if Klopp has said that. I doubt it very much. He would have said that straight away as well. True. But I fell for it because I'm so concentrating and talking about the chat and the game. People have got me and done me. It's all right. People can do me. Look, we get the equalizer, and then obviously the crowd goes wild, and we try to build momentum. But Newcastle again do a very good job, I think, of closing it down again, Keith, slowing it down, disrupting any momentum we may have. They start doing the little shithousery again all over the pitch, and the referee continues to allow it.
Yeah, but it's again one of those situations where one thing I thought Newcastle did, which I think may have cost them a little bit is I thought they were actually too aggressive. So they started doing the okay, we're going to foul every player that gets the ball. Every time Liverpool get the ball, we're going to go right up and we're going to foul them and make those tactical fouls. I actually think that is I think one of the last fouls they make is what actually creates the play that goes towards the corner for the winner. So while Newcastle were being shithouses, again, tonight, I think this is where shithousing can go wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. That was the beautiful side of it. That was the fucking poetry side of it. You're right.
Because you can't, you want to, okay, first of all, you want to feign injury. That's one thing. But then you want to go fouling players, pulling them back, getting the booking. Trippier gets a booking. I think Joe Linton gets a booking. Fabio Carvalho gets wiped out. And at one stage of Liverpool were just picking up these free kicks like all the time, but they were picking them up inside their half. And the one thing you always got to remember in professional football is the level of concentration needed over 90 minutes. And if you're putting yourself under that type of pressure for the last 10 minutes of a football match, you're opening yourself up, in my opinion, to being either counter-attacked or being scored a late winner. What, again, baffles me, why Newcastle were playing that kind of game when they could have tried to win the football match. If they actually tried to win the football match, we would have probably won less set pieces. We would have probably put less pressure on them because we would have been playing higher up the pitch and they would have been able to catch us out. Instead, they were making tactical fouls and they were also dropping like flies, which kind of edged it towards us. And then Grizz.
I don't know, man. I didn't see it coming. I'm not going to lie. We had pressure. I'm not going to say what I'd done. Well, I'm going to say what I'd done because I knew we had to go live in a matter of minutes. It was the 90. How many minutes was added on?
5 minutes, but the referee played on 8. I believe.
So 5 minutes. I went to the toilet at 97th minute. Am I? What am I? Am I not a fake fan for doing that, Keith?
You're definitely not a top red, mate.
I'm not a top red. I can't mess with you in terms of that tag anyway. You are the toppest red. But I was desperate to go to the toilet and I thought 97th minute is fair, right? The referee adds 5 minutes, which is farcical. It's farcical. There should have been 6-7 minutes, okay? We tried to pile on pressure, but we don't create many chances. I don't remember creating any chances. Do you, through open play? I think we started playing crossing and playing balls to the far post where we had Tsimikas trying to win on this side. And by then we had brought on Milner as the right fullback to try to win balls on the other side. I couldn't for the life of me see a winner coming, Keith.
No way. When you consider that, like, okay, you know what? Because obviously we talk about 36-year-old James Milner. So 36-year-old James Milner steps up for the corner on the 98th minute, because it was literally the 98th minute. He steps up for that corner. And Grizz, you were probably one of millions of Reds all across the world who watched James Milner pick up that ball, run up to the right into right touch, and just probably switch the TV off. Because you didn't believe in 36-year-old James Milner was going to put a standard scoop, and for the first time in the entire game, a corner, which we took about, 15 corners, actually hits a Liverpool player. So next time you're talking about 36-year-old James Milner, just remember that we took around maybe 15 or more. Someone in the chat can tell us how many corners we had in that game, from Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, and it was James Milner who actually found a Liverpool player, and it wasn't cleared by Dan Burn. Joe Gomez higher, right? Joe Gomez rises the highest, knocks it. Mo Salah, who seems to be, I don't know, maybe in the summer has been taking heading practice, because I've now seen Mo Salah do more with his head in 2 games than I've seen for the last 6
amazing
years.
Amazing
player, seriously. And he's just, but again, you know what? Again, this is what you pay the money for, and this is what I love about Mo Salah. I've always said that Mo Salah, it's going to be something small, but I always love the fact that Mo Salah comes out for interviews for Liverpool. I always like that he represents Liverpool with his chest as an ambassador of the club, and I also like the fact that he fucking, like, the smallest man in that box, and he is harrying and trying to make something happen. And then it falls to the star boy. And then it falls to the star boy. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. When the star boy hits it, my mind just goes like, it's almost like I didn't see it hit the post. It just touches the net. That's all I saw. I just saw star boy shoot, and it just, the net ripple. Because I thought we'd gone over.
Look, I came back. I heard noise. The WhatsApp groups were popping off. I was pulling up my trousers, you know what I mean, coming out of the bog. I knew something had happened because it was popping off, right? You know when it pops off. And then I come down and I see scuffs everywhere on the pitch, on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Karma, right, Keith? If you're going to fucking waste time all game from the moment you took, not even the moment they took the lead, even before they took the lead, to score in the 97th or 8th minute is so good. I cannot explain. It's so good. Carvalho, people have reminded us, Keith, it was his birthday.
Yeah. Man just turned 20, you know. He just turned, that means.
His star boy is now a man. That's what we've been saying, Captain Sal. That's what we've been saying. He's now a man.
Brilliant finish.
What a brilliant finish. Instinct. Do you know what we've been speaking about Carvalho? He's got instinct of a goal scorer. He's not just a tricky winger. Coutinho didn't have that instinct of a goal scorer. Coutinho was a shot merchant, skill merchant, eye for a pass merchant. This guy has got bits of all of that, Keith, but he's got eyes for a goal. He likes scoring goals.
Yeah. Oh, he does. And he's just so confident on the football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he comes in and actually he just makes things a little bit more interesting on that left-hand side. Works hard as well. He filled in a couple of times to win the ball back when he came on. He had a decent cameo, but again, I just can't get over that finish. The volley there, you know, top bins. I mean, if ever you wanted a moment to announce yourself at a club.
Wow. Do it in the last minute. Not even the last minute. Do it in the 97th minute when your team needs you. They're not playing well. You've been brought up to do something. This is probably one of your very rare chances, because with Jota coming back, Núñez coming back, you're going to get, I'd say, less chances. I hope not. Hope he gets more chances. But you know what I mean? In terms of seniority, he's expected to be around the 6th choice attacker, I'd say. 6th choice.
But with the midfield,
which is brilliant.
But with the midfield situation, Klopp clearly played Harvey and Fabio in front of Firmino in those last 15, 20 minutes. Is that plausible? You go balls deep.
You have to be. You have to be. Some are saying he should have been brought on earlier. Is there a case for that?
With no Henderson now, do you start James Milner, or do you actually say, do you know what, Fabio? Let's see if you can do a job in that left hand side of the pitch? Because as I said, he's got all the qualities, right? And it's just a case of, do you know what? Do we just fucking go and actually start making things happen these days, and, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword kind of vibe? Because ultimately,
would you start him in a Merseyside derby? Think about it. You're starting Merseyside derby. You're going away from home. I don't know, man. What are you saying, man? It's a hard, tough decision. I know you're brave. You're mad, man. You would. I know you would. But I reckon you'd shit. But at the time of selection, I reckon you'd shit yourself.
Go with James Milner and go with 36-year-old James Milner. Yeah.
Go James Milner. No, but look, Henderson's out. So who are we going with the midfield then for Everton? It's tricky now.
Yeah.
Who we got left? It's got to be Milner and Fabinho. And then Elliott again.
Could you imagine?
Well, Curtis Jones is back.
Yeah, but I don't think he starts. Not ahead of Milner. No way. Klopp would never start.
In a Merseyside derby, yeah.
Could you imagine, though, being James Milner? You signed a contract for reduced terms, yeah? To play less football, and you play more football.
You're playing every game of the season so far. No wonder he's switching. No wonder he's switching at Virgil and thinking, well, what are you not fucking blaming me for? I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be chilling and coaching from the sidelines. You're not making me play every single game so far. This is 2022. What are you not doing to me? I think that was the conversation, Keith. It wasn't technical. Yeah. You know the conversation, the argument, it wasn't you go here, you go here. It's like, what are you fucking doing, making me run around and play every single game?
Do you know how old I am? Fucking hell.
Do you know how old I am? Oh man, this is mental. People are saying, not sure how. Yeah, Klopp confirms Henderson has hurt his hamstring. The damage will be assessed tomorrow. Not clear how serious the injury is. What we know is if he was brought off, and he said his injury. Yeah, it's I don't know what to say. People are asking, is Douglas Luiz a target? Again, I'm just going off by Twitter. I haven't heard myself. I'm not going to lie and say I've heard Douglas Luiz a target. But the very reliable journalist that broke the Simicast news has said Liverpool are one of a few clubs interested. More things are happening for midfielder Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. More than one club interested. The journalist is the guy that broke the Simicast news, Giannis Korinopoulos. People. So there you go. As I said, I don't know anything about it. I'd be over the moon if we could bring someone in. I'm not Douglas Luiz's biggest fan or anything like that, Keith. Initial thoughts?
No, I don't. Again, that's literally a body for body's sake.
Sorry, I'm just going to go through the super chat and then let me know what you think of Douglas Luiz. El Drago, we've just talked about that, my friend. Grizz, any real news on Douglas Luiz? He wants to leave, still 24 with experience. Not the player we want, but he can play as an 8 or 6. I get he can play as an 8 and a 6. I get he's young. I get he's going to be cheap, around 12 to 15 million. I guess if we go in for him, there's no way he's choosing anyone above us. So the deal is there for us, Keith. Do we pull the trigger on this?
No, I don't think we're going to pull the trigger on it. I genuinely believe we're doing what we did in with the centre-back injury crisis. I'm sorry to everybody in the chat if I'm going to just like break hearts here.
Piss on their chips.
Piss on the chips. I'm going to piss on your chips. I do not believe we'll make a signing tomorrow. Nowhere. I just don't. I don't see. Unless this even if the Naby Keita injury is so serious, I just see Jurgen Klopp is such a stubborn man. This is what you get when you know what? This is what you get when you're in the helm for more than 5 years. You know, ultimately, like any leader in any situation, whether it's a leader of a football club, whether it's a leader of a country, eventually you get stuck in your ways. You take less risks as you age in a particular role. And I think we've seen that from a lot of managers in the past, I believe. And so I just don't see how Jurgen Klopp pulls a trigger on someone that he wasn't looking at signing ages ago. And for the fact that Douglas Luiz's name has only just cropped up, that surprises me that we haven't been looking at him, for a while now. So I just don't see it.
I see it. I've been telling you in the WhatsApp. I've been telling you in the private conversations we've been having. I genuinely believe we bring one up. We will pull one out the bag. Of course, it's not going to be one of our prime targets because obviously we've not given the other team enough time to get a replacement in. But I've always said someone like a Tielemans, a Burge. I know people don't like it, but I'm just telling you the links. Caceres. I think I was the first one to break that we want Lima. Mm-hmm. Remember I put it to you in the group last week. Mm-hmm. Today, the most reliable journalist in Germany, Florian Petterberg, has said we asked about Lima. They're refusing to sell as of now. I still think we're going to try to do a deal for Lima tomorrow morning. See if they budge. These are the things, guys. I believe we will bring one in. I can't tell you one name. I don't know one name. That's the fact of it. I don't know. The information is being very, very secretive and behind closed doors, which is brilliant. But I know we're working on trying to bring in someone. Normally, they give up. They say, no, we're not going for anyone. But every time I've asked the people that I speak to have said, no, we are actively trying to bring in someone. Let's see. You're not a fan of Douglas Luiz? Nor am I, Keith. You're on mute. But nor am I. I'm not a fan of Douglas Luiz. But it's a bodies thing now, Keith.
It is. But it's a bodies thing for the sake of body, or is it a bodies thing for the sake of actually someone who's going to challenge the bodies that come back? This is the question. You know what I mean? Like, we can't. What's the point of doing a Ben Davies style signing in midfield in particular? Like, you may be able to get away with it in centre back situation, but I don't think you can get away with it in midfield. But the next midfield signings have to be the one that's going to take the place of Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, James Milner. There's 3 players that are going to be gone. So are we just going to spend 15, 20 million pounds for a guy for a year who doesn't really quite live up to the expectation? It's needed, but unless we can pull a Luis Suarez out the bag on the last day of the season like FSG once did, really pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's a tough position to sign for in the first place, and we all went crazy. And this was the biggest irony, I thought. When Tchouaméni was first linked to Liverpool, it was like literally everybody said Tchouaméni is the best thing since sliced bread, right? Everybody was like, this is the guy.
Me, I was desperado for him like anything. I was on desperation levels very similar to, and you're going to say shut up, and I'm going to say no, I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to tell you, I wanted him as much as I wanted him Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, wow.
At the time. Because because you know how Virgil van Dijk was a game changer for us, Keith? Tchouaméni was my game changer in my mind and my head. And that's why I was going mad for Tchouaméni. And I was heartbroken when I found out.
But who's made you feel like Tchouaméni since?
What do you mean?
As in what player that we've been linked to for this midfield evolution?
None of them have given me Tchouaméni. None of them give me Tchouaméni.
Everybody in the chat the same question. Tell me a player that we've been linked with that made you feel the same way Tchouaméni was going to make you feel. Then go back to the original situation we've been in since the summer. Is Klopp waiting to sign the right person? So is he wrong? Or maybe there is a midfielder that made you feel the same way as Tchouaméni was going to make you feel. But as far as I'm concerned, not for me, not with the kind of talent that he had. And it's clearly obvious Real Madrid spent 100 million euros on him for a reason. So if there's no one that's going to be a game changer like Tchouaméni, we're getting bodies for the sake of bodies.
We're at a point where I think we need it though, Keith. We can't be worried about. See, I'm disagreeing with you here because I don't care about the wage bill, Keith, and bodies for bodies and numbers for numbers. I want bodies now. Like, I don't want to go into a Merseyside derby with Milner and Fabinho and Elliott. This is my point now. Do you get what I mean? Like James Maddison, 50 million. Dinesh, no. For me, no. A lot of people love James Maddison.
Great player. He's a fantastic football player. But you bring in someone like James Maddison, you impact Harvey Elliott's progress, in my opinion. That type of player, that's what I see Harvey Elliott becoming the more he goes into it.
LFCR786 says, how is a Tielemans, Douglas Luiz, a Ben Davies signing, Keith? Both of them are better than our midfielders, bar Thiago and Fabinho, especially Tielemans. Yeah, I know. I disagree as well. I don't think you've watched Tielemans. I don't think the brothers watch Tielemans or Douglas Luiz. It's just desperation at this stage. And
that for me is a Ben Davies type signing, because of someone like a Tielemans or a Douglas Luiz, are they really going to be able to fit into how we play football? I don't think. Look,
there's a reason top clubs haven't gone in for Tielemans. He's been available for transfer for the last 2 years. He is now literally going for 15, 20 million. Yet clubs are still having second thoughts. He's down tools almost at Leicester City. His off the ball pressing stats. We looked into him. We didn't like his levels of fitness. We didn't like his levels of pressing. In fact, we didn't even like, and this is, I'm telling you, look, guys, we didn't even like his levels of body composition in terms of his body fat and everything. That's how strictly we look into these kind of things. I think Tielemans is a lovely technical footballer. I think he's wonderful on the pass, on the ball. If you give him space, if he's got time to dictate, he can play football. He's got a lovely shot, and he's got a lovely shot. I'll tell you what he is the best at in terms of all of our midfielders. He shoots outside the box better than all of our players, including Thiago. But to play in our midfield, there's a reason why we haven't gone for him earlier. Now, whether we go for him on the last day tomorrow, I'll hold my hands up and say, you know what? I was wrong. We ended up going for Tielemans. But let's see. I can't see it myself. But it's not the first time that I'll be wrong. I'll hold my hands up. As I said, he's a wonderful player. But I can't see him playing in our team. And then people are going to say, yeah, but Thiago's tenacious, motherfuckers, man. Thiago is a pressing monster. He's a machine. He's intelligent off the ball and everything. You know, he's nothing like Thiago. But look, as I said, let's see. There was another super chat, wasn't there, Keith? Thoughts on Bellingham. Here we go. Thoughts on Bellingham. Bellingham will be a Liverpool player next season. I've said it so many times. I'm tired of it. Bellingham, we tried this summer our best. He wouldn't come. He didn't come. He wanted to come. He's given us his word. People are saying that's like Tchouaméni. No, Tchouaméni never gave us his word. That was the one thing he never done. He knew in the back of his head. If Mbappe doesn't go through, Real Madrid are going to throw the bag at him. And they threw the bag at him, and we couldn't do nothing about it. Scenes at the end, madness. Obviously, there was beef on the touchlines. I love it. I love it. Bring it on. I don't care about that. You know, what do you think? We're not. It's a man. If you're going to argue and fight, do it. All of this handshakes and, you know, because they were wasting time. Klopp knew it. Klopp was getting frustrated. Now fucking feel the frustration, bitches. Because now we've just scored in the 98th minute. How do you feel now, suckers? I love the scenes of Núñez and going mad in the sideline. He loves this shit. Yeah, we've got a little shit house in our squad, right?
Yeah, just fucking keep your head to yourself next time.
That's the problem.
I think a lot of it, because I feel like Klopp has got a lot of love for Eddie Howe. I think it was more their assistant manager. It was proper like getting in the faces and stuff like that. But again, we needed that fire. You know, a bit like how United needed it when they beat us at Old Trafford. I think we just needed this something to gaslight our season. 2 wins on the bounce now. You know, we've really got our season into full gear. Finally.
Hope so, Keith. Hope so.
It's Spurs drew today as well. They dropped points. Arsenal obviously. They're on a bit of a tear. Chelsea lost as well. You know, it's not any this season.
It's a mad league.
It's a mad league this season. This is not going to be the season where, teams are necessarily going to walk through. The biggest challenge City had so far was against Newcastle, you would argue, and Newcastle held them from getting all 3 points. So it's going to be a mad season, and maybe in the end, Man City win the league again, for all we know, but. It's just nice to feel a little bit of, positivity amongst the ranks and actually see that we're actually going and we're fighting tooth and nail to try and be involved as much as possible. And that's all you can ask in the team in our situation currently is we fight till the bitter end and we win football matches however they come. Because as I said, after the United game, it's going to be one of those seasons. I think we all as fans need to just forget about it. There's not going to be no cruising. There's not going to be there might be the odd Bournemouth result here and there, but the majority of the times when we come up against a top 8 team this season, it is going to be a fucking bloody war. And we just got to be able to step up to the plate and win the football match. Today could have gone so differently. So differently. We could have lost that match, and you know what? There couldn't have been much complaints.
No, there couldn't be, honestly. They could have easily held on. They could have easily held on. I don't remember many chances being created. I don't remember their keeper making any saves. Oh, he makes that one very good save low down to his right from Elliott.
Yeah.
Again, for me, there's not even a question about man of the match, but I guess we might as well discuss the man of the match. For me, I think it's unanimous unless you've got a wild take.
Nah, I can't. There's no wild takes today from me. Absolutely not. At the end of the day, Harvey Elliott, for me was just, it was different class. Again, when I talk about a player that wants to win the football match, that was one man on that pitch today who wanted to win the football match. And who knows where who knows where we would have been if he wasn't playing today? Let me put it like this. So yeah, definitely Harvey Elliott.
Look, we go on to the Merseyside derby. Of course, we're going to have loads of content around it. People, don't forget, we've got the Rate and Debate show coming up in half an hour. 11:45, I'm going to be live with blue chips in the building. I think it's way too late for Keith. He's going to go to sleep by then. He's done his shift. He's done his stint. Had to get Keith on the instant post-match reaction because there's no one who gets more hype than Keith out of our crew. So I had to bring on Keith. Guys, for me as well, Elliott was magnificent, the shining light, the savior, the star, but call it whatever you want. Even though Carvalho saved the day and actually scored the goal, Elliott just kept pushing. Magnificent mentality he showed, and I hope the guy goes on and on and has a magnificent career for us. We've got out of jail today. This is 2 wins out of 2. Sometimes you need something like that, ugly, where you don't deserve it, to kickstart your season. We hope, we pray that this is the kickstart to our season. This has been the post-match carnage for Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. We will be back in, as I said, 11:45 for the rating debate. We out of here. Take care.